sure, but challenging now.
Not challenging? Okay, good to hear. Great. So we're going to quickly switch gears a little bit into training tools. So prior to COVID-19, what types of training tools have you used or been given when being introduced to new products, such as maybe the ones that we're going to check out today?
They would just have us have a meeting, and then a sales representative would come and just show us how to use it.
Do you have like a formal training, like a formal in-service day to do that, or is it for the random?
It's really just like on our meeting days. It's like maybe the first or second Thursday of the month.
Ah, okay.
So if they happen to have somebody to come show us something, it'll be on one of those days.
Great, and that was happening during the pandemic or after?
Mm-hmm.
Even during the pandemic, they were, oh, that's very cool. Was there a change from the pandemic to prior?
Not so much.
Not so much.
And in your opinion, do you find that these are ideal methods to administer training?
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you need to have hands-on with it, or could you watch a video and learn it, or what? If it's a new thing, totally new thing.
It would just kind of depend on the product, but
Right.
For the most part, this kind of works like SurgiFlow.
Right.
So you can translate a lot of the same steps.
Right, right. Yeah. So something more complicated, like going to Da Vinci, you need that hands-on to attach things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Got it. I know it's been a little bit since you've used FlowSeal specifically, but could you recall the last time a Baxter representative provided hands-on training for a new product?
Maybe a year and a half ago.
Okay, gotcha. Do you find that other companies are providing product training in similar manners?
Yeah, I want to say they do.
Okay, wonderful. We talked a little bit about the video platform and things like that, but any other changes in terms of training tools that you've experienced since the pandemic has started? No? Okay.
Consistency is nice, isn't it?
Sounds good. Wonderful. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and circle back to the training video that we watched earlier. In this next section, we'll be preparing the FlowSeal product in a simulated surgical scenario. In this case, you will be acting as the scrubbed person. And before we begin, we'd like to best imitate real-world scenarios as much as we can as you handle these products. So we do have gloves right behind you if you'd like to go ahead and pick a pair that you normally would use in the OR. Additionally, we wanted to ask if you wear any corrective lenses or glasses during your practice. Okay, wonderful. So I'll have you go ahead and glove up.
So we're not going to gown because we're not going to be splashing crazy things.
Right.
So
Yes, that's the plan.
Yeah, but pretend like now we're going to be in the operating room, right? So this is your surgical table. Yes, it's lower than it should be, but we're not in the OR. We're just going to pretend that it's high enough and that the instrumentation is sterile, even though you're not wearing a gown. Is that okay? Hopefully?
That's fine.
We appreciate the flexibility.
Usually your imagination is today. And then I was saying that we have Raytex that don't have.
I noticed that those aren't.
Yeah, we only had 2, and call me crazy. I want to make sure 10, so they're not Raytex. Let's pretend. Again, let's pretend.
So I'm not counting all that, huh?
No, we're not counting today, so you're off the hook for counting.
That's for me, don't have to be truly sterile.
Yeah, no, you're good. Thanks for that. And you can rearrange the instrumentation, whatever you want, as if to make it as if whatever procedure you're doing, it's just how I set up with what we have, but you can do whatever you want. So we're just going to focus on what's here and not what's in the corner over there. On the corner of the table, that's out of bounds for right now.
This one right there?
Yeah, is he going to be here first?
No, we're going to start with that.
Oh, you're starting with that
Yeah.
one? Okay, sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
if this was,
Don't pay attention to me.
If this was me,
Yep.
I just said my table would probably look, I don't know if it matters too much, but it would
All
probably look that.
right, I'm down with this. This is good. I like it.
Of course, we put it on a mayo or something.
Yep.
And the product you would be preparing, you'd like right in front of you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to just do quickly, I'm going to switch these out for you. We'll start with, if you don't mind passing me those 2 syringes, please. I know I'm not supposed to make you work more than you signed up for, but,
So,
all right. So
Okay,
we
now
will-
we're good.
Yes, exactly, great. So as Marianne mentioned, we're going to do our best to act as though this is our representative sterile field. And as we do that, we do ask that you give yourself some leeway and exploration as we are working with new design ideas. So cut yourself some slack as we move forward with this preparation. Once more, we'll only be preparing the 5 ml flow seal product across all of these different configurations, only the 5 ml product. So we'll go ahead and get started with our first preparation. I'll give you the very brief scenario. So here we have the flow seal components that you will use for product preparation. Your circulating nurse has already aseptically transferred to the sterile field all the components required for flow seal preparation. So referencing the training video, please prepare the product as you would in the OR.
Okay. Was it 4 mLs?
I'm going to ask you to do your best to reference the training video. I'm going to be the bad guy.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Any initial thoughts on preparing the flow seal product with the syringe configuration?
No, not really. I was just kind of surprised it was like pushing back a little bit. But other than that, no, pretty good.
Okay. Before we kind of dive into some deeper questions here, one thing I'd like to ask, is there anything in particular that you liked about this configuration that you found helpful or pleasing?
It's there's fewer components and it's a little bit quicker.
It's quicker in what way?
Just kind of setting up. Like if you really know it, you could probably do it like in a flash. I think the Surgiflow, it takes a little bit longer.
Okay.
Interesting.
This is maybe about half the time of that.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
if you were like really down.
Great. I'd like you to take a moment to inspect the product that you prepared. Can you describe the sample and maybe how it compares to what you're preparing in the OR today? Yeah, especially just kind of, its appearance in the syringe itself.
Yeah, looks like regular Surgiflow, has the same consistency. Seems pretty comparable.
Okay. I'd like to kind of circle back on a couple of things we saw during preparation. The obvious one, kind of asking if 4 ml was the correct amount to aspirate. What, I guess, influenced your decision to withdraw the amount of Fromin that you did?
Well, I saw 4 mLs there. I just wanted to be right at 4 mLs. There's like so much more in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed it said there's going to be like, I thought it was only going to be like maybe an extra cc's worth. This was like maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
Do you have any thoughts on that particularly? If I guess this scenario were to happen in the OR, what would your thoughts be on the remaining liquid in the vial?
I mean, I just keep it, I guess. It's all fair. I just hold on to it.
You hold on to it? Yeah. And what would you do with it later? I'm just curious.
You throw it out.
Throw it out. Yeah, I mean, if you kept it, what would you think you would use it for maybe later?
I wouldn't be able to say. I don't think you could use this to just mix something else.
Right.
It would just kind of hang out. It would just kind of hang out unless it was too much clutter, then I would just get rid of it earlier.
Right.
But normally we just, I don't know, my habit anyway is just to hold on to stuff until I know for sure I don't need it for whatever reason.
You have Thromin already on the field, I would figure, right, for spine and some patties? Yeah.
Gotcha. And one other thing I wanted to check in just with the both of you. Could you tell me how many swooshes back and forth you did to prepare the product? I just want to make sure I saw that correctly.
I did 10 plus one more to get it into the flow seal labeled syringe.
Okay.
Right, okay.
And are you identifying one pass as one swoosh, or was it 10 pairs?
Oh, just one swoosh.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, got it. Oh, so like this is 1, this is 2, this
Yeah.
is 3, this is 4. Okay, cool. Gotcha.
Gotcha. The next thing I kind of want to talk about is just additional challenge potentially with this design idea, right? Do you see any challenges with your facility or guiding organization adopting a configuration such as this? Okay, wonderful. Any other questions before I move to Likert?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Wonderful. So I want to quickly introduce you to a Likert scale reference that we'll be using throughout this session. So you'll notice the scale is 1 to 6, with 1 representing something not desirable and not usable, 6 representing something very desirable and very usable. So on a scale of 1 to 6, how would you rate the acceptability of the syringe configuration to prepare the flow seal product?
I'd say 6.
A 6. Wonderful. Okay.
Let me grab this out of your way.
Thank you, Marianne.
You're welcome.
So we're all set with this configuration. We'll go ahead and move on to our next one. And this will provide for you once more. Thank you. All right. So very similarly to the last configuration we worked with, here we have the flow seal components that we'll use for product preparation. Same scenario, we're going to assume that the products have been aseptically transferred to the sterile field. Please go ahead and prepare the product as you would in the OR. Thank you. Any initial thoughts on this design configuration?
No, pretty much felt the same.
Okay. Any concerns or difficulties during prep?
No, I think you just have to remember that it's going to come back at you. The syringe will push back at you a little bit. The surgical I'm used to, it doesn't do that. It just kind of goes right into the vial and you can just swirl it around.
And how did you fix that? So it happened both times now. How did you fix that?
I just let it come up, and whatever's in there just mix it, and you can use that pressure back in and just draw it back, the fluid back out.
So you use it to facilitate getting it back out of the vial into syringe?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting, okay.
It's just that someone who is used to other stuff that, without that feedback, that might be a little bit surprising.
Okay.
Gotcha. Was there anything that you particularly liked about this configuration over the last one?
Nothing, I can't say anything unique.
Okay, gotcha. I'll ask you one more time to kind of take a moment to inspect the product that you prepared. Again, asking the same question, how it compares to what you're preparing today.
About the same, comparable.
Okay. Wonderful. Any thoughts about not being able to see through the entirety of the syringe?
Not that one, the other one.
Yeah, you'll notice on the diluent syringe that there's a little bit of an obstruction. Do you have any thoughts? Did you notice that during preparation?
No, not really.
Okay. What do you think about it now? Now that you see it, you can play with it and plunge your back.
It doesn't seem like a big deal.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Do you prepare any other products that might have kind of an obstructive viewing window or an opaque viewing window?
No.
No.
Okay. Do you think that this configuration would introduce any communication error between users during preparation? If there was things like a shift change or...
Sort of like I'm relieving you because you have to go to lunch.
Not really. I don't think so. If it's for someone who comes in and they have no idea, even then, I don't think it would be too hard to just give them a quick rundown.
Oh, okay, so you would give them a little briefer on, okay, interesting. Great, thank you for this. This is very helpful, by the way.
Yes.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Very good,
Thank
you do
you.
exceptionally.
And then again, we'll ask a similar question. Do you see any challenges with your facility or guiding organization adopting this configuration?
Not particularly.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm just going to show you the syringe for a little bit. So just so we're clear, when we're talking about does this syringe look different, when I pull this syringe back, now I can't see my plunger anymore. And have you ever seen anything like that before?
No.
Is this sort of a good thing, a bad thing? It doesn't matter.
I don't think it really does. If this is like the marking that you have to go off of, I don't think so.
So just so I'm clear, that was what you were aiming for, it wasn't anything else that was
No.
on here necessarily, but it was
No.
the 4
It's
mil line?
just that line.
Okay, thank you for that. Clarification for our friends.
Thanks, Marianne.
Yep.
Awesome. So we'll take a look at this Likert scale once more. So same question, scale of 1 to 6. How would you rate the acceptability of the syringe configuration to prepare flow seal?
6.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we're gonna switch things up a little bit and give you a new set of syringes for a new configuration. And before we go ahead and prepare this one, I just did want to give you a little heads up that, again, we're working with high-level prototypes. With this configuration and design idea specifically, I ask that you just kind of take a little bit of care when you're putting the components together. Again, just a high-level prototype, so I want to make sure we give that little disclaimer out. Wonderful. I think by this point you know the drill. Again, flow seal components have been transferred to the sterile field, so go ahead and please prepare the product.
So already this is going to stick it.
As we're asking for a little patience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Gotcha. Thank you for being patient with our prototype.
Thank you. That was
Any initial thoughts on this one here?
It's pretty obvious.
Pretty obvious?
Like, well, I was struggling a little bit, right? Because this is like not a lure lock. It's that's, I mean, it can be done, but it's just not efficient.
Gotcha. So the lure lock is helpful with that connection. Makes sense.
Let me ask you a follow-up question to that. If it was a lure lock and it connected like the other ones, would that have made any kind of difference in your preparation?
Yeah, it would have just probably worked like the other ones.
Okay. And then what was your cue to withdraw thrombin to a certain amount?
I tried to just follow this 4 ml line.
Okay.
Did you recognize any other type of instruction on the syringe configuration?
Oh, no, I didn't really look. Push the transfer line to, that's it.
Have
Is
you ever?
it- Go ahead. Somebody's there.
We're
Go ahead.
like milking my milk. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, as you kind of took a quick look at that cap, do those instructions mean anything to you?
I mean, I think like someone in the OR would just kind of want to be ready to assemble it and put it together more intuitively. We don't really, I mean, stopping to read something is, it's just not the most efficient thing. A lot of people are used to just knowing how the product works, being able to put it together with familiar things like lure locks.
How do you think it would work for someone who's never seen surgical, never seen flow seal? Would they be able to put it together? If the rep, it's the middle of the night, the rep's not coming.
They'd struggle.
They would struggle.
There'd be a lot of pressure, especially if the doctor needs it right then and there.
Right.
And if they don't know how to do it themselves, it's even worse. So,
Right.
yeah, right off the bat, it's just
Yeah. Have you ever seen a syringe like that in use in the OR?
almost never.
Great information, thank you.
Awesome. Gotcha. Anything that you like about this configuration? I know, there were a couple challenging points, but anything that you find helpful with this one?
It at least worked, I think.
Good answer.
At least worked. Yeah.
So speaking of which, if you took a look at the product you prepared, how would you describe it?
I think maybe just because there wasn't like a completely accurate drawing up of thrombin, maybe it's maybe a little diluted, or I don't know, something about it just seems like it looks a little diluted. Yeah.
Jumper.
Yeah, that tells you it's pretty diluted.
Right.
Got it. You had made a comment about, the perfect amount of thrombin being withdrawn. Other than that 4 ml red line, can you think of any other ways that you can, us as designers can ensure that you are, or I guess make it easier for you to know that you are withdrawing the correct amount of thrombin?
It should just have all that you need in it. I think maybe if it has like a cc or 2 extra, just in case, that's fine, but it should just have everything you need in there, and you should just be able to draw it all out at once.
So whatever you need, no extra at all, even maybe just a little.
Yeah, because sometimes even if it had like, if you needed exactly 4 cc's, and if there were 4, sometimes you can't get it all. So like maybe like having 5 if you need 4, just to be able to pull it all out and get it in